Alright, for today, Thursday, April 23rd, our math lesson is lesson 12.4, and it is called Combine More Shapes. So, we are going to continue to see how we can combine two-dimensional shapes to make new shapes. So, use these shapes as an outline. So you are going to use your pattern blocks. So you should have a mixture of these shapes plus the rhombus that I don't have, the blue one. And I want you to use these shapes to fill in this shape and see what it takes. So it has to line up. So if it doesn't hit the lines, you don't want to use it there. Like if you did put this there, you would need to have shapes that would fit. Okay, so this might fit there with this shape. So you want it to be able to fit in there perfectly. So you're going to kind of play around with it and see what shapes would work where. So here I might have to put this one. Could put some squares. It might not fill it out perfectly, so you might just want to play around with that and see. Even though that's a little smaller than the outline, it fits in there pretty well. So then I could almost fit another one in there, and then a triangle, maybe. Doesn't fit great, does it? It would help maybe if I had the blue one too. So, you can see this isn't as easy as it looks. Might have to play around with it a little bit. So, there's no perfect answer. It's really just those squares are probably going to be the easiest thing to use. Squares and triangles. So it says to only use 2 different shapes to fill that in, and 3 different shapes to fill this in. So, I don't know. Let's see, we've got it's pretty close. Not perfect, but if we're only using 3, then the closest would probably be like that. Maybe we could even take this. Not quite. So just kind of play around with that. See if you can use just 2 different shapes and 3 different shapes. So These are much smaller, so I think that's the problem. So I think the idea here, I don't have my answer key for the teachers, but I think that here they're trying to show you that this shape could be broken right here. And that would be a square and a triangle, right? So that'd be 2 shapes. And then if we were to do 3 shapes here, then that would be you've got a triangle and a rectangle, but you could even close this off at a square, and then this side is more like a rectangle, so square, rectangle, triangle. So think about that. When we're filling them in, they're just too small, but then they want you to just picture what shapes could make that. So if we were to combine 2 rectangles, put them together like this, so you still see that dotted line there. So you could squish them together, or you could lay one up and one sideways and make this shape. So those 2 rectangles could make this or this. You could also combine it in other ways. You could stack them on top of each other and make a really long rectangle. You could turn this and put it more in the middle like a T shape. So if you have some rectangles, I just have the squares, but if you have rectangles, you could see how many different shapes you could combine with 2 rectangles. All right, on share and show, it says circle 2 shapes that if you combine them, they make the shape on the left. So what in this row, what 2 things would have to be pieced together to make the circle? So a circle has curves, right? So this doesn't have any curves. So we would have to take this circle, and if we cut it in half, that's what it would look like, right? That's half a circle, like our half moon. So it would take 2 of those to make a circle. Now, what would it take to make a rectangle? Triangle, square. This is another square. It's just turned this way, right? Same shape, just turned a different direction. So if we put these 2 together, we already know if we put 2 squares together, it's going to make a rectangle. Looks exactly like what they have there. All right, and then this shape. Ooh, we don't really have a name for that shape, do we? So we have to think about what would it take to make that. So could I take half a circle and put that anywhere in here? So it'd have to be half a circle. So it'd have to go all the way down to another point. So that's not going to work. But if I take these 2 and I flip them opposite, so if I basically, right, I put one here and then flip that one here, those curves, one's going to be here, one's going to be here. So these are the 2. So you can even draw those lines to show what those shapes are that would fit. All right, so the rest of the packet you're going to work on your own. So you're doing the same thing on 4 and 5. You're looking at this shape on the left. You're deciding what 2 shapes could you use to make this and this. Number 6 and 7, it wants you to draw lines to show 2 different ways to combine the shapes on the left to make the shapes on the right. So you're going to be drawing the lines over here on the right. So you're going to have to draw lines in different places. So I might draw a line across here to give me a square, but then I'd have to draw another line here so I have a rectangle and a square. Then over here I could draw a straight line up and up so that I have my rectangle in the middle and then a square square. So you're going to draw the lines to show where each of those shapes go. So parents, I will definitely give the answer key to that so that you can see what I'm talking about. Use your pattern blocks to help you if you need. You're doing that same thing on 8, 9, and 10, drawing the lines of how you could actually make that out of these shapes over here. And number 11, circle the 2 shapes that are combined to make this new shape. So circle the 2 that made this. Answer key will be on Dojo. If you all have any other questions, please let me know. Use those pattern blocks. Explore with them. Help them, or let them help you make sense of new shapes you can make when you combine more shapes.